the Santa Barbara Courthouse. I've never been here before. It's gorgeous.
Oh my god, there's so many dolphins.
Back and forth just a little bit here. Humpback whales, they are technically not residents here in the Santa Barbara Channel. They come here mostly during the spring instead of winters. Pretty cool thing. Seems like more recent years.
This is the best one. Cheers. Pomegranate balsamic vinegar. We're at the Rose Parade. Raining for the second time in 20 years. I look like a mess, but this is cool. There's actually still a lot of people even though it's raining. Oh, the roses are the maple syrup going down. It's like near Long Beach. Okay, I just painted for like 3 hours and this is where I'm at with the clouds. not happy with it. Like, it looks freaking crazy right now because it's so high contrast, but I'm gonna fix it. Like, this is gonna take me at least another few months, probably, but I gotta fix this. I cannot leave it like that. Oh, painting is so hard. Now I have to clean up all the oil paints too. Basically, I added a lot of details over here. They're not super detailed, but carving out the clouds with some lighter color to contrast this dark purple, I think actually really helps just bring it to life a little bit more and adds like a little bit more detail. Basically, as you saw before, this was just like one big blob of purple and it just wasn't like contrasting enough. And now I finally feel like I have this like blue to super warm. This part needs a little bit of work. I think I need to blend it out to make it a little bit more softer so it's not super dark right here. But other than that, like, I am so proud of myself. Like, I literally did not think I had it in me to make a painting this big. Like, it's almost half of my arm. It's almost half of my wingspan. Like, this is honestly a really big undertaking for me. So I'm super happy with how this is turning out. I'm basically focusing on this area right now because I feel like this is what brings it to life. And then I need to like smooth this out. And then of course the horizon and the ocean. So there's still a ton of work, but honestly, if I do say so myself, it's not too shabby. Good morning. It is a very, very slow start to Saturday this weekend. It's my first week back from my trip to California and Santa Barbara, which I decided to put all the footage in the beginning of this video because I didn't really take enough to warrant its own video, which is good because I felt very, very in the moment. I was home seeing my parents, my sister, and then my fiance and I went to the Channel Islands, kayaked. We had an amazing time. Like, every time I go to California and Los Angeles, I just relish in the warmth and just all my memories because like I grew up there. So it's more than just about like the palm trees and the beach. It really is like a place where I feel like safe and happy. And then Santa Barbara is so beautiful. If you guys haven't been, like, you need to go. I just realized I wasn't wearing my jewelry and now I feel so empty without it. Also, these eye patches I got on Amazon because I wanted to try them out. I've never tried eye patches before, but they keep sliding down. I actually don't know if I'm even wearing them correctly. Of course, we have to do a little journal update because it is 2026 now, and all I have left to do is my December monthly little things page, and then we're done for the entire year. It's so crazy that this journal, this physical sketchbook page, has been with me since December 2023. I did this one when I went to Colombia. So this sketchbook has literally been an accumulation of so many parts of my life, which is so beautiful, and it's so interesting to see all of it come together. So if you are new to my channel, or if you found me from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, etc., welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. I really just want to encourage you guys to get off your screens a little bit and journal. It's as easy as that. I do a ton of art and painting, but I think that one thing I always come back to is just pen and paper and see what happens, whether that's writing, sketching, drawing, doodling. I've also gotten into crossword puzzles recently. However, I will say I do use the New York Times app for that. Anyways, this is a very, very chill weekend. First Saturday back in the city since traveling. I have had jury duty recently, which has been interesting to say the least. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I just need to edit some more videos, so I'll kind of show you a little bit of how I edit. Other than that, very chill. I want to finish a few more journal pages. So I actually got these press-on nails because I stopped getting manicures because it was like hundreds of dollars a month. So I'm just gonna try these little press-ons because my nails also kind of feel empty and I like having something when I'm journaling or typing. Okay, let's have a great weekend. I'm just editing a little TikTok here. I usually just scrub through all of the clips and make sure that it looks good. I have to shorten down this part though, because it's a little long. I just don't know how I want to chop it up yet. Okay, this is truly like girlhood right here. I'm figuring out how to put on these like nails for a little weekend for just like journaling. I'm also gonna scrapbook later with my fiance because we have so many travel photos and experiences that we actually just only have on our phones for pictures, and we really want to get better at actually putting things on paper, which is like my whole thing too. Again, a super just cozy day. I'm like literally not even doing anything. It's kind of gloomy outside. I think it's going well though. My beautiful, gorgeous decaf coffee. I also finished my nails. I haven't had my nails done in forever. It feels almost like weird to have them on. I just like shouldn't do it that often, I think. In my coffee, I love putting in collagen peptides. I don't know that they actually do anything, but I feel like I like the flavor, and if there is some sort of benefit, then great. And then also I finally picked up this creamer. I was doing like a cold brew plus whole milk routine for a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna do black coffee and a splash of this now because I feel like I was like ingesting way too much. That is gorgeous. This is another reason why I love my fiance, because he loves reading physical books and articles as much as I do. So we just got a physical copy of the New York Times. I will say having a physical newspaper is different. Like I have the New York Times app, I do the crossword puzzles on them. I have been a crossword puzzle fiend lately, but there's something about a physical newspaper that just hits a little different. You know, the content of the newspaper aside, like it's just nice actually being able to read, especially enjoy the like life and arts part of the New York Times. I also have a physical subscription to the New Yorker magazine, and my mom always tells me to read the going-ons about town section because it has Broadway shows, it has updates about art galleries, emerging artists, like anything there. Great restaurants too. There was a restaurant in the New Yorker that opened in the West Village I didn't know about, and I actually found out about it through the New Yorker, not Instagram or TikTok or anything. So I thought that we could sit down and do a book catch up because it is January 2026 right now, and I cannot believe that the year is starting and that the chapter of 2025 has closed. I read so many great books in 2025 that we have to talk about it. I'm gonna start with some easy books to dip your toe into, and then we're gonna talk about some like heavier, denser books that you'll learn something from. I think that it's really important to have a mix of fun books that you can zip through really easily, and then also still challenge yourself because we're not in school anymore, and one of the ways that we need to keep our brains active is reading a lot. Okay, so without further ado, let's catch up about 2025 books. This is a thick stack. Okay, so I'm gonna start with some fun books, and by the way, I'm also gonna mention books on Kindle, but let's start out with one of the most fun books that I read. Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. Such a fun book. It's a classic will they won't they childhood summer love. It will transport you to the beach and make you feel warm and cozy. Must read. The next super fun one, I Regret Almost Everything. It is a memoir by Keith McNally, and he has opened restaurants in Manhattan. He's a restaurateur. I've been to Pastis, love that place. I really want to go to Minetta Tavern. He also is the guy that opened Balthazar. I've never been there. It's been there a long time, heard it's good. I've been to the Odeon, honestly didn't really like it that much, but his memoir is really gripping. It's really fun to read. I zipped through this, and if you're looking for a kind of like self-deprecating but like weirdly dry sense of humor as well, but also I mean, he deals with some heavy topics. I loved this book. I couldn't put it down. The rest of my really fun books are actually on my Kindle, so I will just open up my library, which is also very extensive. I fear that if I were to get all physical copies of books, I mean, it would weigh like 100 million pounds. Okay, the next super fun one is Hotter in the Hamptons by Tinks, actually. And this one, super spicy. I read a little bit about the writing process after. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really know. I don't know if like Tinks came up with the idea and then she got a ghostwriter, but whatever. I don't care at this point. Like, this book was so spicy, really fun. The next one, The Next Mrs. Parrish. I really enjoyed this simply because I was reading a really heavy book and I just needed something to like cut through that, and this book was fun. I didn't see the twist coming, which usually in these types of, you know, kind of more mystery thriller with a little bit of romance sprinkled in, it's predictable, but I didn't think this was predictable. Another one of the same sort of feel is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. It was very cheesy at points, but still summer romance set on a lake. What's not to like? The next one is called Tart Misadventures of an Anonymous Chef. This one was such a fun memoir. I think I had just finished reading I Regret Almost Everything, and then I really wanted another like chefy foodie memoir. I absolutely love reading those. And so I saw Tart, and Misadventures of an Anonymous Chef just sounded so fun, and it did not disappoint. This is probably at the like one of the like highest, like at the top of my list. It was amazing. It was so funny. It was spicy, really fun. Because I liked this first Annabelle Monaghan book so much, I wanted, again, another easy romance read. So I downloaded Summer Romance, also by her. I did not like this as much as this one. I just thought that Summer Romance was actually too cheesy for me, but I still read it. Now I'm gonna talk about two memoirs that were fantastic in different ways, but they're on the little like heavier side, I would say. The first is Blue Plate Special by Katie Christensen. The way that she writes is masterful. I just think that if you read this, you will pick up on some writing skills because she's such a good author. If you liked Educated by Tara Westover, potentially, it's not like as extreme as that or The Glass Castle, but it's, you know, it's a heavy memoir. Like, she goes through a divorce, she goes through a kind of like rocky childhood. I found it really fascinating, and another thing that I love is that it does kind of center around the motif of food, hence the name of the memoir. I would highly recommend. All right, the next one that I read is also a heavy one. So it's How to Lose Your Mother by Molly Jong Fast. And so her mother was Erica Jong, which I know she was a feminist writer. I actually haven't read her most famous book, but her mother ended up, I believe, getting dementia. And so this memoir is Molly's recollection of dealing with that kind of like end of life as your parents are aging. It's kind of sad. It's not a fun read, I would say, but I think if you're going through something similar, it might give you a little bit of solace to know that there's other people going through it and other people whose parents have once been on such a high pedestal. So it's really sad because you're seeing someone fall that used to be so capable. Another literary fiction, White Fur. Oh my, yeah, White Fur. I actually saw it as a recommendation on TikTok and immediately downloaded it. Hooked from page one. The writing is so poetic. It's almost like surrealism writing, but at the same time, it's so gritty and it's so raw and it's so real. The characters come to life. It's so vibrant. The storyline I did not see coming from a mile away. It really took me to a different planet, yet it was set in New York City. Gorgeous, breathtaking. I would read it again and again. I loved it so much. I also have two nonfiction books for you. So I read both of these last year and tore through both of them. Okay, so the first is 000, which is about drug cartels, and it's a really fascinating read. I learned a lot. This book is actually kind of old, but obviously the topic is a really big topic still. Anyways, I learned a lot. I think that this journalist covered it in a really interesting way. He loops in the history of it, but then also ties it back to current events. Okay, the next one, also old but relevant. Romney, A Reckoning. It's not that old though. This one was interesting. I read a lot of politics. I keep up with politics. I am very opinionated politically. I identify as a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. However, I also assess politicians not just by what party they're in, but how they conduct themselves, what message they're sending to the public and their constituents. And I think that this was a very interesting read about Mitt Romney and his final days as a senator and the role that he played in trying to shape history for the better. I will say this journalist is a really amazing writer. He's a writer for The Atlantic. He's also Mormon. Mitt Romney's also Mormon. So I think that there's probably some bias in skewing towards being like overly positive on him. That's not to take away from the noble acts that I believe he did take at the end of his term, but yeah, it really just more so focuses on kind of like, how did we get here? It does also kind of cover his life. But anyways, I thought it was a really good political biography. I did. And I'm on the lookout for more. All right, now I'm getting into kind of the like academic zone. So again, I am 30 years old. I have been out of college for a while, but my favorite classes were always in the humanities, philosophy, poetry, and just classics. So I really wanted to take this year, and one of my goals was to finish War and Peace by Tolstoy. I finished Anna Karenina early this year. So I am making a dent. I think that everyone should read either Anna Karenina or War and Peace. I know that this is a hefty book. It's challenging for me to even get through, but the storyline has finally started like popping to life, and it's really fun. I say fun just in terms of, obviously Tolstoy is a masterful writer, but he's also very emotionally in tune with how people interact with each other. He's very good at drawing out these like micro interactions and kind of feelings that are hard to put into words, but for someone like him, that's what he does perfectly. And even with a topic like the Napoleonic Wars with Russia, he is able to bring such an incredible sense of humanity to these otherwise like grisly scenes and topics. I'm really enjoying this. So I read this while I'm also cycling through my other like really fun, fast reads. That's kind of how I like to stagger things. So these are other books that I finished a while ago, not necessarily just in 2025, but I think that in 2026, this is a really great time to reintroduce you to some classics that if you haven't read them, now is your time. This is the year. Okay, number one, Jane Eyre. How cool is this cover, by the way? I don't even know like where I got this edition, but Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, a classic. I tore through this. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It is such a lovely, well-written, kind of like love story. It just brings a smile to my face how emotional it made me and how many strings this pulled on my heart. I freaking love this book. Everyone needs to read it. Jane Eyre. I tore through this. I was in Greece on vacation actually when I read it. It was the perfect beach read. Okay, the next one, The Idiot by Dostoevsky. Oh my God, such a fun read. Like, I think people don't know how funny and what an amazing sense of humor these writers have. Like, this guy is hilarious. I have highlighted so many quotes and pages in this. I think that maybe the comedy or comic relief is heightened because this book is about someone who's supposed to be like an idiot. It kind of represents like innocence in a world of, you know, bad things happening. If you want to challenge yourself or get out of your comfort zone, but still have a story that is honestly pretty fast paced. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, I was blabbering so much that my other little camera died. So I was recording on this and then I realized that it ran out of storage. So I'm gonna finish up my book rant. I don't know where my camera died, but I probably was blabbering about maybe The Idiot. But anyways, such a fun read, highly recommend. Jane Eyre as well. And then I also picked up The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. I think that if you want to, again, challenge yourself, read something a little bit more hefty, these are really great books to start with in my opinion. Aside from War and Peace though, I also recommend Anna Karenina. So fun. I will say that I also started Portrait of a Lady by Henry James, and that one, I don't know, it's a little boring. I might try to revisit it this year and finish it, but I couldn't like get through it. I think I'm like 30% through. Next, the book that everyone needs in their life, Dr. Zhivago by Boris Pasternak. I can't even put into words how poetic and masterful and how many strings this pulled on my heart. This covers it's like an epic. It's an epic. It's gorgeous. It is about the Russian Revolution. It is about humanity. It's about love. It's about sacrifice. It's about poetry, creativity, what it means to be human. And I just can't say enough good things about it. I will gush about this book to whoever wants to hear me gush more about it. Let me know if you've read it, because this is one of my favorite books of all time. Lastly, I'm gonna wrap this up with some philosophy. My favorite classes in undergrad were philosophy, so it's only right that I continue that legacy into my 30s. So I picked up this book on Nietzsche, and it's not about his actual philosophy, it's about his life and how he lived his life as if he was kind of living it in a literary sense. It's a little bit confusing. It's also very dense. I do want to challenge myself to like get through this though in 2026, because I think it's really important to ground back into philosophical themes when we can. I think it reveals a lot about life and it can be very insightful, even if it's a little confusing, but I think that's a cool part about philosophy. You can kind of make it your own, which brings me to my next book, which is How to Live, which is about the life of Montaigne, another one of my favorite philosophers. So he is the father of the modern essay. Essay is a French word, and now we have it as a fun homework assignment. The personal essay really came from him. I think that this is one of the best books in a biography sense about a philosopher that we know a lot about through his writing. This author makes his teaching so accessible. Montaigne was really famous for experimenting with the grounding sense of life, which actually was a little bit uncommon for his time, because back then he was living through the religious wars, and in his lifetime everything revolved around the church and life in religion. And he was one of the first people to be like, you know what, actually, what does life mean outside of that? What does it mean to just live? Like, what is that? His essays are so interesting because when you read it, it literally is like reading a letter that maybe your friend wrote you. Like, the emotions that he conveys are so relatable in such a refreshing way, even though he was from centuries ago. That's just why I love philosophy and these kind of classic books so much, because even though these authors were alive hundreds of years ago, before iPhones, before social media, before talking to a freaking camera, they would write on, I don't know, typewriters. Actually, not even before typewriters. Quill, ink, pen. Anyways, this book I've had forever. It's torn to bits. And actually, when I studied abroad in Paris in undergrad, I remember specifically taking this little photo at the Palais Royal on a disposable camera. I think it's only fitting that I use my Paris study abroad photo as the designated bookmark for this. I'm gonna stop there because that was a lot of books to go through. Let's make 2026 the year of reading, rediscovery, falling back in love with writing, and reading for the fun of it, to learn stuff that you didn't know before and to just connect to yourself more, because that's what it's all about. Going through all of these just got me re-excited for all of the new books that I'm gonna read, for the classics that I haven't yet read, and you know what, to write more. I need to write more too. But please leave a comment, send me a DM, send me an email. Just let me know, like, what are other books I should look into? If I missed anything, if you've read any of these, I want to know. So please feel free to give your recommendations or your takes on any of these books. And happy reading. I just got these eye patches, so I'm gonna attempt to put them on again and see if they actually make any difference. I'm new to using them, so I don't know if they're actually gonna make a difference, but they feel good. This lighting in my kitchen is atrocious, but it is what it is. To start 2026, my fiance and I got the physical edition of the New York Times. We only get it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday edition. I love the weekend arts section. I feel like I always learn so many new things. And you guys know by this point, I always make a smoothie on the weekend as well. Something that I would recommend if you're feeling stuck or bored of maybe like the town that you live in, I really just recommend picking up the local newspaper and seeing what art shows are going on. Obviously, New York City has a ton of things. There's a ton of museums here, but sometimes I forget or I take it for granted. So this is a really good way to just remind yourself of all of the cool things that are going on. See, like even the MoMA PS1, I haven't been there in forever. And doesn't that look cool? I'm just gonna peruse this, have my morning coffee, and hopefully today is more exciting than my day yesterday, but still very chill. I'm just enjoying this like slower January before things really pick up later.
It's like low key. Yeah, like a flex, like an example.